Good evening, my beloved Beyond the Call of Duty friends and family, and good evening to our beloved EOW family. It's Friday the 21st. Beautiful, beautiful evening. It's 7 o'clock, and some other parts of the world it's later. Got a beautiful lineup today. I've a very, very special guest. And, as you know, this year we've done things a little bit different. We're not doing the ride this year to catch up and get some funding for the ride next year. So what we're doing is actually bringing survivors that we would typically be meeting this year in June. We're actually bringing them on live, talk about themselves, their spouses, their loved ones, uh, and then we'll still be meeting them next year when we do the ride. So, want to thank some of our sponsors real quick. Um, Bud Clary Yakima, and this is the fourth year that they're supporting us, and they are just amazing, and they continue to give the love and support and the commitment. Want to give a huge shout out to Yokes. Again, it's a fourth year for them, and they are an amazing corporation. They not only give us the financial support, but they also set up events around their properties for fundraisers, and they're going to be doing the same thing again this year. Our diamond sponsor, it's Phoenix Protective Corporation. Without them, we would not be even in existence. They not only do a financial commitment, they house all of our uh, memorials, they house all of our gear. We don't have an expense because of this company, and they field all our calls and office space, and just you name it, they do it and keep that going. Throw out to ADI, Advanced Digital Imaging. Again, another year. Greg just called me yesterday and said, "Yeah, I'm really, really sorry on this aspect of the price of our wrap going up, and it's just it's really hard. But things are expensive these days, and you know just it's difficult. And he tried his best, and he's continued to try to keep the cost down, and that's what we're trying to do. Our friends in Colorado, 1350 Distilling, veteran owned company. From day one, they have jumped in and supported us in different ways. And all of our memorial banners from last year's ride are at 1350 Distilling, and they are being housed over there. And you can make arrangements with Jake and see them. The family members that sign them are allowed to go up close and do some behind the scenes stuff. And it's just amazing that they house these banners for a whole year, giving me an opportunity to find a permanent home for them. Our banners are so far, they've been given permanent homes in the Spokane training facilities at Spokane Police Department. I got a verbal commitment that it's going to be, my other banners are going into the Kennewick Regional Training Center. Again, for all these cadets to see all of these beautiful men and women that are wearing this uniform, to understand the sacrifices all these other officers are making and doing for themselves. Want to throw a first time sponsor, Selkirk Construction, where we also did the year end raffle last year, and they've committed to another year. So, really want to thank them. Cannot do this without Lone Wolf Harley Davidson. Greg and Holly, thank you so much. They not only do events for us, but they donate one motorcycle every single year to be given to a department that writes as to why that motorcycle should be donated to them to represent their beautiful officer. So thank you. Can't thank Jen with Garden Street School of Yoga. She has tirelessly raised money every single year. In fact, I just heard from her, and we're doing a double fundraiser coming up soon with Michael Dees, and absolutely amazed by this woman that just gives everything that she can. So there you go. That's some of our sponsors. Thanks for letting me share them. Again, if you're out and about, please, please, please visit them, see them, share them, thank them. For without them, we wouldn't be able to do this. We lost a few officers this week, so I want to touch bases on that and do a quick shout out to let the families know we love you, we care about you, and we're going to continue sharing their name and their thoughts. This beautiful deputy is Sheriff Joshua Owen. He's with Pope County Sheriff's Office in Minnesota. His end of watch was Saturday, April 15th of this year. He was shot and killed while another deputy attempted to arrest a man for domestic violence in Cyrus at about 7:30. Deputies as well as police officers from Glenwood and Starbuck Police Department had been dispatched to a house for reports of domestic violence. Officers were attempting to place the man into custody when he opened fire on them. Deputy Owen and the subject were both fatally wounded. The other deputy and the Starbuck officer was injured. Uh, the incident also occurred on Deputy Owen's 44th birthday. So he was not only a deputy with the sheriff's department, he was also a Minnesota National Guard's Operation Iraqi Freedom veteran and had served with the Polk County Sheriff's Office for 12 years. He's survived by his beautiful wife, son, and parents. His father is also a retired Leo. I've said this often, everyone. These men and women, we just think that they wear a uniform. They have already served our country in one form or the other, and then they continue to serve our country by wearing this uniform and representing their city or their county. So, got to give hats off to these families that have already endured them going through one set of uh, reservations of helping this country in forms of either the National Guard, Marines, Army, Air Force, Coast Guard, and giving all they gave for that to turn around and give their life for their county and their city. So I want to really throw a shout out to this Corporal Joseph Johnson, and he's a Reserve Corporal Joseph Johnson with Yassa Police Department in Oregon. His end of watch was Saturday, April 15th. He was shot and killed in the intersection of North 3rd and Locust Avenue while making a traffic stop at about 8:20 in the evening. He was responding to reports of a violent man damaging property at home and threatening its occupants. During the response, he encountered the suspect driving away and conducted a traffic stop. Subject immediately exited, opened fire, fatally wounding Reserve Corporal before he had a chance to return fire. The subject abandoned his vehicle, fled. He was arrested a couple of days later. Corporal Johnson served with Yassa Police Department for almost 5 years. He's also served as a corrections officer for the Oregon Department of Corrections for 15 years and worked as a civilian employee for the agency. He's survived by his beautiful wife and two children. Again, he got him serving for the department and serving his state as a corrections officer. Well, our guest, I read up a little bit about who she is, and again, I got a passion. I got a passion because people don't realize the sacrifices that the spouses and the survivors and the kids go through day in and day out. This young man was not only a police officer, he was also with um, Border Patrol, but he was also a Coast Guard. And I'm going to let his wife talk about some of his beautiful attributes and smiles and laughters, and the fact that she's a first generation immigrant coming from a country that's extremely suppressed and oppressed, and allowing the freedoms. And we forget that these sheepdogs are the reason why we have freedom in this country. These sheepdogs are the reason why, we can walk freely on our streets, and we can go into a Walmart and buy product and go home and drive home. Yeah, there's bad neighborhoods, but that's what these sheepdogs do. They protect. And this young man protected our borders. He protected illegal entry into this country. Uh, and so I'm going to bring him on. His name is Officer Jorge, by the way, his name is George Arias. And he's with the Department of Homeland Security, Customs and Border Protection, Office of Field Operations. His end of watch is October 19th, 2022. It's the same day I was born, except the year. Officer George Arias was shot and killed while training at the Trailblades Range just after 10 a.m. He was a United States Coast Guard Reserve veteran, served with the United States Department of Homeland Security and he was a firearms instructor assigned to the Miami International Airport. He's survived by his beautiful wife and two children. I think at this point we should bring Anna Marie in.
Hi, JC. Thank you so much for having me.
You,
Uh, I am no one important, but I'm so proud of the service that my husband provided. He was very, very dedicated and in love with his career. But on top of all of that, he found the time to be an excellent husband and father to my children, and a brother, and like a bonus dad for his niece and nephew as well. He came from a very small family. And you did mention that he is first generation immigrant as myself, and we're both from Cuba. We arrived at this country in our early, maybe still childhood for him. I think he was 9 when he arrived, but he always had a passion for the military and for serving and protecting. And that's what you said. That's not everyone has that inclination. So I think if you have that inclination towards service like that, you should definitely look into the law enforcement community. It's it, we need it.
uh,
I know we need good people out there. What can I say about him? He, he overcame every obstacle that you can possibly imagine in his youth, and he applied. I think he applied for CBP, and he was waiting for like 4 years to be called. That's disheartening. I'll tell you
well,
that much.
well, I know he waited 13 years
We
get your
did. Oh my
to get
gosh.
your hand in marriage.
Oh yeah, no, the story goes back even further. So we met in high school. Uh and he was a senior and I was a freshman. And coincidentally, we never dated in high school. And I knew that he liked me, and just life happened, and he went off to college, and I stayed in high school for another few years, but we never lost touch. I remember calling because okay, so his nickname was Flaco, like thin, skinny. He was tall and skinny. And I remember reaching out to other friends because I never remembered his name, or at least his last name, which is Arias, by the way, just easier, Arias. um and I would always reach out to our friends in common. Hey, what was Flaco's name? And I found them on Facebook, and we replied to one another. And then 13 years after high school, we reconnected. It's just one of those moments in life when everything just kind of happens. Uh, he had left an engagement, I was divorced, and we met up out of all things to enjoy a basketball game, just to watch as friends. And we had such a wonderful time, like time hadn't passed. It was, I don't know if it was nostalgia for the high school years or what it was, but we hit it off really, really well. And from that moment on, that's it. It's history. We rekindled in 2013, and that's it. Then he got the call from CBP.
Yeah,
He had to go to Arizona, and he put in for a transfer, and we knew that that was happening at some point, but we weren't sure how long. Um, so he got back home to Miami, and we dated through the distance and all of that, and it was difficult, but he was someone that was worth your time. He was that kind of person, like a solid dude.
you're just absolutely amazing. I mean, this picture says it all.
Yeah. Oh, he loved firearms. Oh, he was in love with his job. You just see the spark.
Yeah, yeah, he's got that mentorship brotherhood. That let me just help everybody over here, and
Yeah. That was him. That was him. 100%. The who's volunteering for, I don't know, moving boxes
Yeah.
from this place. That's him. That was him. Um, oh, and then of course he was a coastie too. He was a reservist for 10 years with the Coast Guard, um, and he absolutely loved that. It was a lot of fun for him as much as it was interesting and arduous work, because he would just show up. And oh, and he was assigned to sector Miami, and at some point, for I think for like 2 to 3 years, he was the only reservist on base. So everything was on him, and he was kind of like going out of his mind between CBP and Coast Guard and home. But you know what? He handled it. That's how you could see. That's how I admired him so much, because he could handle all of that with a smile, a grin, and just he was ready. He was just ready. That was him. That was him.
Tell me
Oh,
about this.
that one. He got his uh I think it was from ME1 to ME2. So it's the class. He upgraded class in the Coast Guard, and the kids were there too. But I forgot to send you the picture with the kids. I apologize for that. But yes, we were so thrilled for him, and he hated these ceremonies. He didn't like any of this. you know, he was like a very low key. Like he knew you knew you could depend on him, but he never wanted any of the glory. He didn't want to be in the spotlight. So all of these, ceremonies, he's like, so I'm getting this award. Do you want to come with? And I was always like signing up. Of course, sign me up. Let me go. I want to support you. Let me celebrate you. He didn't want none of that. Always hiding. Oh man, this picture. They had just gotten that vehicle in the picture at the range to move, stuff around, and it was a huge upgrade from the golf cart. And he was like the gear guy. If it existed, it was probably strapped onto his vest somewhere, or his helmet, something. And so he was so excited about that vehicle right there. I What a day. He wouldn't shut up about it. I
Right?
remember that.
Right? It
Yeah.
probably it probably took him like a year of requisitions to get it.
Oh yes, it took him a long time, long time. I remember the golf cart was falling apart, the one they had prior to this. Uh, oh man, there we go. Okay, so that's his niece in the picture, and as you could tell, we are football people, and
Yeah.
we love college football. I think this was yes, this was the UM versus FSU game when they played here at the Hard Rock Stadium nearby. And his niece, and he was like a second father to her too. We all went to the game. It was so exciting. It was so exciting. And now she's in, oh my God, the Golden Knights up in Florida, University of
Okay.
Florida. Not UF, the other one,
Yeah,
Central
yeah, yeah.
Florida,
Yeah.
UCF. There you go. And she's doing great. And he was going up there almost every 3 weeks to watch a football game with her and just spend time. And it was, oh man, he was always down for football, always, always. uh
This
aha.
this one you made me laugh about.
Yeah, I told you, that was at Leavenworth, and that's in Washington State. And it was the first times the kids were seeing snow. And man, let me tell you, we were there actually with a Coast Guard buddy of his, who coincidentally works for a KOA, Campgrounds of
Yeah.
America stuff. So we ended up staying at the cabin, at a little log cabin in one of the KOAs up there. Uh, it was so lovely. What a fun vacation. We did everything. We did a sleigh ride, the lighting ceremony. We didn't do the dog sled because we were overbooked. But a lot of stuff, the hatchery. Oh, what a fun, fun, fun time. That vacation is very memorable. We still talk about it to this day.
Famous German hot dogs.
Yes, absolutely. So it's like very quaint and tiny German, heavily German influenced town, little town. Yeah. Absolutely fun time there for us and the family. See, more
Okay.
football. This was the
Okay.
Dolphins training camp, and we just took the kids, and these are, for lack of a better word, all the kids in the family. you know, the nephews, the bonus nephews, a
Yeah.
niece,
Yeah.
all of the
Yeah.
people. What? That was a great that was a great day. What? I remember this. So the guy in the back next to the dolphin, that's his best friend, Jose, and
Right.
he's family. Him and the wife are family, and we are always talking about George. He would go, so football season every Sunday. Jose's for barbecue and football. That was the family thing to do. That was the thing. I'm still over at their place as much as I can.
That's one of I tell a lot of our survivors is don't stop talking about your loved one.
Never, never, never.
Keep
And I
that
know,
crisp, keep it live, keep it. Don't allow anyone to
yes,
ever forget him.
never. I know it's fresh, and this is something that I've lived through, and I'll just say it for anybody else who's struggling with this out there. Um, One day, the good memories are going to stop causing pain, and we'll be able to smile through them and remember them in better light. But until that day happens, still don't stop talking about them. Keep talking about and keep talking about their light, about their essence. We can never forget them. I know I never will. Ah, see this one more fun. Some sort of training day, and like I said, Mr. Tactical. I'm still finding tactical stuff in drawers. I have no idea what to do with it. I keep donating it to the guys, in the unit. Uh, but it's like he just absolutely, absolutely loved, and he was a great shot. Like he could have been, he could have been in the Marines probably somewhere, and he was great. He was great. And this is already when he had transitioned to firearms instruction here in Florida. He loved it. Absolutely. Absolutely loved it. He would spend hours just developing new training modules and stuff like that. So, because, that's what you guys do. You guys just like, you give it
But
all.
gotta stay sharp. Gotta stay sharp.
You got to stay sharp and got to stay sharp.
Bring some comments. I know we've got some families
Oh,
on
sure.
here. This is Allison Sylvester. Good evening, EOW family.
Hey, Allison. Sorry that we belong to this EOW family. That's the only thing.
Eddie Gomez. Good evening, my love. The gentleman sitting next to him, that is Eddie's life partner. That's
Oh,
Daniel, and he was killed in 2019 in Colorado. He was a Colorado State Patrol. And so Eddie's been one of our first survivors, and he's been with us for the last 4 years. He'll pop in and out, and he's also the one that we're going to give you his information, and he'll tell you how it feels when you come on the ride with us and what
oh,
healing
thank
that's
you.
done for him. So
Wonderful.
Joel Reeder, good evening, Joel. He lost Justin Delosha. That's Justin Delosha, and he's out of Cowicz County, and just a phenomenal partner. And Justin was just an amazing, amazing young man. So,
Wow.
yeah.
I'm sorry for their loss. This is terrible.
This is Emery Lane. His brother was killed in the line of duty in 2003, and amazing. He was an under sheriff, and we actually represented and rode for him one of the years and talked about his brother on the ride, and um, that's what we do.
That's it.
Emery's talking to Eddie, saying "Go Kraken," and then Eddie's going to reply and say "Go Avas."
Some good rivalry here. That's how we feel. Yes. Ah, absolutely. Tributes to all the families too struggling with this recent loss. I remember those first few days were pretty dark. Uh, I'm having brighter days thanks to lovely people like you and great organizations and the entirety of LEO family. I'll say one thing that my late husband used to say. Um, so he lost his dad at, I think he was 10, maybe 9. Um, and then he lost his mom at 22. Okay. So it was pretty much just him and his sister for the rest of life. And then I came on, in the picture, and we had our own little family, and that was lovely. But he would always tell me, I come from a small family, but I have a huge LEO family. And in my head, in the back of my mind, I was like, you're probably exaggerating. That was like, I'm being honest. I thought that maybe he was exaggerating. And I'll tell you something. It sucks that I had to learn how much the Elio family is there through this tragedy. But I'll tell you that I'm better today because of all the Elios and the touch and um the fundraisers or the races or the events that have been held to honor our, my husband or the people in the area, the other heroes in the line of duty that we've lost this past year. So I absolutely love and I admire the work that you're doing, and you're making a difference. So thank you for this.
This is Rachel. All of my love from our family. Officer
Oh, I'm
Peter
so
Jeremy,
sorry.
yeah. End of watch 2723. So, Rachel, our hearts go out to you, and we love you, and we are not going to allow Peter to be forgotten or not talked about.
Never.
So, we'll keep his memories going.
Never.
Eddie says, Anna, stay strong. No, you always around, always have us around, which
Thank you,
he is
Eddie.
too. He will not let you go after today. So,
I hope not.
Sherry, good evening, Sherry. Miss you and thank you as well. Well, Anna, I've taken enough of your time. Bless you, bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you for allowing us to be part of this. Thank you for allowing us to talk about George, to talk
Thank you.
about you and your personal relationships. We will definitely see you next year. Uh,
Yes.
can't wait to give you a big hug and just
Yeah.
try and take some of that pain away. And
Thank you.
um, bless you and God bless you for who you are.
Bless you too. Keep doing the good work. Thank you. And I'm so sorry. My condolences go out to anybody listening with recent loss or going through it. You're not alone. Yeah. Thank you.
Share your information. We'll get it out to some of those
Yes.
survivors. And thank you.
All right. Stay well. Thank you.
Yeah. Wow, she's an amazing, amazing woman. The relationship and the banter back and forth, and listening to the stories about this beautiful man giving everything that he has, everything he can for this beautiful woman and the children and the department. Again, these are the stories that need to be talked about. These are stories about this uh, this man that was sent from heaven to serve and protect. So, yeah. So, hearts out to her and what she's doing. Well, please don't forget, Chris always asks me, there's a Give Big. It's Giving Big in May 2nd and 3rd. So it starts today, April 18th. So please, if you feel, or it started April 18th, if you feel like you want to give big, bar scan that, send it out, give it to all your friends and family, let them know about it. The other big one is this is STCU. It's a bank over here. It started on April 10th. You can vote once a day until April 23rd. Please, please, please vote to donate to Beyond the Call of Duty. That's our 501c3. We would love to be the recipient of this nomination, and you don't have to do anything other than once a day vote to then vote and say that you're voting for Beyond the Call of Duty. Please, please, please. We strive really hard to keep and get funding from wherever we can. Don't forget, we're still raffling off this beautiful motorcycle. The raffle is in September. You don't need to be present. We will deliver it to wherever you are. Let us know, message us. We'll get the tickets to you and all of that good stuff. It will be a live auction, but yeah, you don't need to be present. Last year, as you know, we raffled a vehicle and got it out. So God bless all of you again for listening to us on a Friday night. Remember, folks, remember, if you see an emergency vehicle and it's all lit up, please, please, please teach everyone slow down, move over, or just stop. No drinking and driving, no texting and driving. More importantly, if you see a Leo anywhere, ask them politely. Say, may I give you a hug? Don't just run up and tackle them and give them a hug. That'll be bad. But go up to them and just thank them. Just it doesn't cost you anything. Just thank them. Thank them for who they are. Bless them and give them a hug and tell them you love them. So from our hearts to yours, God bless all of you. Thanks for watching us. Thanks for staying with us and share this message about all these beautiful families. So God bless you. See you guys later.